really hate intros, so I'm just gonna get started. Today I wanted to do an updated everyday look because it's been a hot minute since I filmed a video. Anyways, and my routine has changed a little bit, mostly for convenience sake. So anyways, I'm just gonna jump right in. So I just took a shower, washed my face, and then put on like some serum. I didn't put any moisturizer on just because my face feels kind of like oily anyway from the serum. It's not oily by nature, but anyways, like as you can see, there's like a sheen to it. So I didn't want to add like a moisturizer on top of it too, just because, I don't know, I felt like stuff was just gonna like slough off. Anyways, so usually what I start with, like when I wake up in the morning to do my makeup, is some Fix Plus, or, which is by MAC, or this Morphe Continuous Setting Spray. A lot of people use a primer for their makeup first, but I don't do that. I just add like, it's like, sometimes it just feels too cakey when I have too many products on my face. So, anyways, I usually start with this. And then, yeah. Okay, so on a normal day, what I'll do is I'll use this MaryKay Undereye Corrector. It's got like a pinkish undertone, or orangey, I guess. So it's supposed to cancel out any like dark circles that you have. So I just add it into under my eye. As you can see, it's pretty like full coverage, and I just add it right there. Okay, so I'll take my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer. I've been using this. This is the second tube I've bought. I really don't marry a product. I have a bunch of concealers that I've tried over the years. The Urban Decay Naked Concealer is really good, but it's like $28, whereas this is, I want to say like $7 or $8. So anyways, so you just crank it up, and it's got like a little sponge on the end. They also have a foundation, and I just crank it until I start to see a little bit of product come in. Sometimes it comes in kind of weird, but oh well. And then, sorry, I'm looking at my mirror over here. And then I'll just go right over that concealer that I already have. And then a little bit on my forehead and my chin. I'll also sometimes go down here. As you can see, I have red cheeks, so now I look like a warrior. And essentially, this is going to turn into my foundation. Sometimes I just don't put foundation on first because it's like a lot of products and I feel like my face looks really cakey, which it probably doesn't, but whatever. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead with my beauty blender. This is the Morphe Jeffree Star beauty blender. I just bought it the other day, actually. The texture is pretty much the same as the Real Techniques one, which I have like a ton of these. But as you can see, this side is rounded, whereas this is like really sharp. So I wanted to get this. It also came with 2 mini ones. And I wanted to get these because I wanted to see if this would work for my under eye area better. I'm not going to use it today. I'm just going to go ahead and use this. And I also wanted to see if this would create like a sharper contour for when I bake. Anyways, so now I'm just going to go in. This is damp, but it's not wet. So if I squeeze it, there's no water going to come out. Alright, so then I'm just going to go in. And I'm going to press the product into my skin. And I'm gonna bring it down because, like I said, this is kind of like my foundation. And I'm gonna blend it even on my eye. I actually don't use eyelid primer either, like eyeshadow primer. I know a lot of people swear by it and they say it makes their makeup last a lot longer. However, I just don't use it. I never have, actually. I'm not opposed to it. It's just not my thing. And in fact, my eyeshadow tends to stay all day long anyway, and I think it's because of the process that I use to put my foundation on. And I just set my under eye really well with some powder. And my eyeshadow lasts all day anyway. The beauty blender is getting a little bit dry, so I'm going to spray it with some of my Fix Plus just to dampen it back up a little bit to make the product spread a little bit more easily. So far, the sponge is not my favorite. I think I prefer the Real Techniques one, actually, because it's a little bit softer. It's more pliable. This is pretty, like, dense. I have actually never used a real beauty blender before. I've never purchased one because if I can get a Real Techniques one for a fraction of the cost, like less than half the cost, maybe even a fourth of the cost, depends on where you get it and how many you buy in a pack. Because beauty blenders, the real ones, are like 20 bucks or something. I know they like last forever, but I'm not about it. I also drag it down a little bit here, just so you don't have any lines. Sometimes I'll even do this so that I can see where that line might be. Okay, so at this point, it's pretty well blended. As you can see, it's a medium, maybe even like a light coverage. It just kind of evens out my skin tone. But I can still, if you like, if I zoom in and get a little bit closer, you can still see my freckles, which I like. Okay, so next what I'm gonna do, typically if I'm gonna wear foundation and do like a full glam look, I will use the Coty Airspun Loose Face Powder. This is just translucent powder. It smells really perfumey. My grandmother used to have this, so it reminds me of my grandmother, but anyways, but it can get a little bit drying, I've noticed, on my skin, and that's because I bake with it. And so anyways, I've actually been using for the last few weeks, just for convenience sake, and also, you know, because I have it light around, I have this matte MAC blotting powder in the shade medium, which I don't think actually matters because it's translucent, and I have actually been using it a lot because I've hit pan. It's translucent and doesn't add any color to your face at all, which is the same purpose as this, but this is a pressed powder versus a loose powder. And I've just been preferring this lately. It doesn't smell like anything. It's not a super heavy coating. It just kind of sets all of the makeup. So I'm gonna go in with this brush. This is a Moda brush. I got it in a BoxyCharm, I don't know when, a couple of months ago maybe. Came in a trio, I think. I really like it. It's just a face powder brush. So I'm just gonna go ahead in and I just swirl, tap off a little bit of the excess, not really a whole lot, because my whole point is that I'm gonna be setting my face. And then I press it into the skin. And as you can see, it's taking away the sheen. This is, as far as I know, this powder is supposed to be used for just like blotting away oil on your skin. Like everybody has those little oil, little like sheets that you press into your skin and they take all the oil off. This is designed for that, I'm pretty sure. That's why it's called blotting powder. However, I don't have oily skin, so I'm just using it as a setting powder. I definitely don't think it was designed for that, but you know what? People use lipsticks as eyeshadow now, so whatever. Okay, so usually once I've patted some of it in, I'll start swirling it to see if I can feel that my face is still tacky, which it is. So I'll just continue to put a little bit of powder on until my face doesn't feel tacky anymore, or as tacky. Because if it's tacky, then your other powder products are going to be patchy. They're not going to go on smoothly. Okay, I also sometimes will like to set my under eye, and I'll use a smaller tapered brush like this. This is the Morphe 438 brush, and sometimes I'll also use this brush. This is the Luxie 522 tapered highlighter brush. I have two of these, so use one for highlight and one for under eye sometimes. It just depends. I have like way too many brushes, so I just switch it up sometimes. So I'll just take a little bit more of the product, and as you can see, I've got quite a bit on the brush, and I'm just gonna tap it under and all over my eye. I'll also sometimes come in here to the corner of my nose because these big brushes don't really like get in there like I want. And so I will also do that sometimes. Okay. All right, so I'm done with that. Once I'm done setting my face, I will move on to bronzer. It still feels a little tacky. It's fine. It should be okay. It's probably just because I'm sweaty, which is kind of gross. It's a little warm in here. We usually turn the air to a little bit of a warmer setting in the summer, which is ironic, but just because, well, not really in the summer, like all year long, we turn the air down or up, like up during the day, and then it's, why am I rambling about this? Okay, all right, so next I'm gonna go with my bronzer. This has been my favorite brush for bronzer for a really long time. It's Me. I got it in like a Birchbox ages ago because I don't even have Birchbox anymore because I didn't really think it was worth it. Anyways, so it's just kind of like a small tapered blush brush almost. I have used bigger brushes like this before for bronzer. You could even use something like this. This is a brand new brush that I just got from a student actually. So it just whatever floats your boat. So anyways, I usually go in with this. MaryKay has a brush very similar to this one. As you can see, it's like tapered on, it's like angled on one side, and you're supposed to do like contour with this flat side, blush with this side, and then highlight with this side. Not really into it. So this is a Pro Precision Face. I don't really use this brush that much. Okay, anyways, I'm rambling. So my favorite bronzer that I've been using is the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula. This is 6676. I actually don't know that there's too much of a difference between the different shades. I think I got a lighter shade last time and I wasn't even sure how different the shades were, so I just bought this one next. I really like this bronzer because it smells like coconuts. However, I'm really tempted to use the Tarte's Pro Glow Cheek version 3 palette that I just got in my BoxyCharm Luxe because, oh my god, it's so pretty. As you can see, I swatched the two highlights because I actually filmed another video which was an unboxing for this BoxyCharm, but I didn't upload it because I looked awful in it, so it's fine. Anyways, but this bronzer is a little dark, so I don't know if I want to film with it just yet, but I'm so excited. Okay, anyways. So I'm just going to go with my trusty Butter Bronzer, and I'm just going to take this brush and swirl it around, tap off the excess, and then usually what I'll do is I have like a little bit of a hollow right here in my cheek, and so I'll just add the bronzer sort of in that area, starting with just like a little bit of a tapping motion just to get the product on the skin. As you can see, it's already starting to add some color. And then I'll just do some light swirling motions to blend it out. In this particular way, I'm not really trying to contour my face because it's such a diffused look. I'm just trying to add some warmth to my skin because I like it to look a little bit summery. I'll also add some up here close to my temple. Not close to my temple, in my forehead. I will add it in my temple as well. And I just kind of add and swirl and sweep and just whatever until it's blended to my liking. If you have a larger forehead, see how there's like a patch of light right here? If you have a larger forehead, you can put more bronzer on to make that patch of light smaller so that you can minimize the look of the size of your forehead. So I'm just gonna go on this side. I take it up into my hairline. Also go back and forth. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll go back in and I'll clean this area up a little bit so that it doesn't look muddy. But if I'm doing a quick job, I might not do that at all. You can also go back in and blend it with your powder brush. Oh, I think I have some in my eyeball. Oh, I did. 2 hairs. Okay. All right, so the next thing I'll do, actually I've been bronzing my nose a little bit because it gives it like a little sun-kissed look. It's like the opposite of contouring actually, because you're supposed to just go on the sides, but I just like to do it along the bridge of my nose and also on my chin, just like underneath like this. Not on the front of my chin, but just like underneath a little bit. Okay. Okay. Once I'm done with my bronzer, I will go in with blush. So lately in my like go-to kit, I have like tons of blushes. So many blushes. I have blush palettes, individual blushes, whatever. But for convenience sake, I've actually been using this Milani Luminoso. Super old school. All the beauty gurus used to use it. Like, oh my god, it's so pretty. Whatever. It's a really pretty like peachy shade, and it's got a little bit of a sheen to it. So if you don't have a highlight, and you just, or you like don't want to use highlight also, this is a really good blush. So I'm gonna go in with this Moda Pro. It's a tapered brush. I'm pretty sure this is for like just powder, but I actually really like to use it for blush. As you can see, it's pink. So I'm just gonna go in and tap on one of the sides and then tap a little bit of the excess off. And then I just tap real lightly to see how much color is going to come off, because sometimes blush can be like pow pow and then you look like a clown. And really I'm just going to go a little bit higher than the bronzer, but pretty much just on top of the bronzer. And as you can see, there's a little bit of sheen to this blush. I really like it. Sometimes I take it up into my hairline also. You can also go on the apples of your cheeks if that's what you like. So I'm just going to add a little bit more to this side. And I'm just going in really light tapping motions because I don't want the color to be too concentrated in one area. So I'm just going real light and then brushing to kind of blend that out. A new trend is to put blush on your nose. I tried it the other day. It's whatever. I think it's kind of like the flu look. I'm not really sure why that's a thing. Anyways, okay, so next, I'm gonna go in with some highlight. Why not? This is the Becca Moonstone. This is the first real highlighter that I ever purchased. Yeah, and as you can see, I've used it quite a lot. I have 2 other Becca highlighters. One is the Prosecco Pop, which has a little bit more of a golden tone. It's really pretty. And I also have, I feel like I had one more, but oh well. I also have the Becca Cosmetics Jaclyn Hill Shimmering, whatever, Champagne Split. This one has, does this have Prosecco Pop in it? Yes, it does. So that means I did not purchase that Prosecco Pop. I think I got it in a BoxyCharm. Anyways, whatever. So this also has Prosecco Pop, but it has this blush too, which is, oh, Amaretto. It's really pretty for fall. It's a nice like rosy tone. Actually, it's more peach actually, so that's pretty. Anyways, I really like this one. I don't actually use it that much. Anyways, okay, blush is done. And sometimes if I go a little bit overboard on the blush, I go back with my powder brush and just kind of blend it out a little bit. But sometimes you just want to be super blushy. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, there's 3 different brushes that I use for highlight. Depends on what mood I'm in. and what kind of concentration I want. So sometimes I will use this brush. This is the Morphe M510. As you can see, it's like a big blending brush. It looks just like an eye blending brush, like this one, except for it's bigger. Okay, sometimes I'll use that if I just want to go like on my cheekbones and my nose and make it kind of like bam, but I don't want to do that. I also will sometimes use this fan brush, which is crumpled because it was in my bag for a long time. So obviously I haven't been using this one too much. And you can do the highlight just on kind of the same purpose. It's more focused. But if you want a more diffuse look, I'm actually going to go in this tapered highlighting brush. This is by Luxie 522 I talked about just a second ago. And I like this because I use it the same way that I use my blush brush. So I'll swirl it in the product, tap off the excess, and then just kind of like lightly go over where my cheekbone is. And just adds a little bit of shine, but it's not like crazy. So I'll even smile sometimes because I like sometimes to get it on my cheek like this. That was a real smile. And just go right on top of your cheekbone, and I like drag it down a little bit into my cheek, into the blush, just to blend those two things together. I'll take the excess and just dust my chin, dust my nose, and dust my forehead. I didn't get any extra product on that. And I'll just go the center of my face essentially, which brings the light forward. Voila. Okay, so at this point, I'll do my eye look. I haven't really decided what to do, so I'm just gonna do like an everyday eye look. I have the soft Glam palette. This one is really pretty, very soft, very glam. Hence the name. Maybe I should use this one instead. I think I'm gonna use this one instead. Sometimes this one, I'm not gonna say it scares me, but sometimes I'm not really into it. Oh wow, that's really close. Oh well. Sometimes I'm not really into it because of the black, which is dumb because no one said you must use the black. Anyways, so I'm just gonna do a quick rundown of the brushes that I think are essential for an eye look. Like an everyday eye look. So anyways, so always have a blending brush. I have many. This is one of my favorites, but I really like, this is Sephora Pro Crease Blush number 10. I'm crossing my eyes. And this one is the Moda Pro blending brush. Oh, crease brush, there it is. It says BMX 430 crease. I like this one because it's a little bit shorter and it's a little bit denser. Can you see this? There we go. It's a little shorter and it's a little denser and it's a little bit more tapered at the top, so I feel like I can get a more controlled application of the product. Whereas this one is more, it's like a little bit more, it's less dense, it's a little bit easier to move around. It's really good for like really blending. This is more like a application. I also have this, okay, so that's blending brush, okay? Sometimes I'll even use both of these because I'm extra. Also, you need because sometimes I don't use this, okay? However, I like to have a synthetic flat brush like this. So this is the Alamar, there's no name on it, but as you can see, it's really thin. This is a synthetic brush. It's very tightly packed, and it's really good for applying to the lid like this, with like a wet shimmer, which I will probably do today. I also like this one. This is a Mikasa E22. It's a little bit longer, but it has pretty much the same purpose. It's just a little bit bigger, and it applies a little bit easier because it's got a little bit of a bend to it, whereas this one is pretty stiff. Okay. I'll use the blending brushes for the crease, and I'll also use it to blow out the outer corner. Okay. I also like to use a small blending brush. This is a very similar, it's not actually a similar shape at all. This is a blending brush, but I actually use this for under eye just to like blow out and make it super smoky. I recently bought 3 new brushes from Morphe that are for the same purpose, so maybe I'll do a video on that stuff also. And then also important to have an inner corner highlight brush. This one, I don't actually use it this often. This is the Luxie Mini Round 141. It's very like a dome shape, I guess. And it's really good for just inner corner highlight. But sometimes I drag it down too. So anyways, whatever. Something like this. You can also do your brow bone with this as well. Yeah. I have so many brushes. These are the ones that I use. These are the types of brushes that I use the most. So a blending brush, a flat brush, or a shader brush for your lid, an inner corner highlight brush, and then underneath for your lash line. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna get started on this eye look. Typically, I will go in with the lightest shade and just pat it on my eyelid, just to kind of get a good base. I don't usually take it all the way up into my brow because I don't really like that look. I just stay on the lid, sometimes in the inner corner also, since I'm going to add a highlight later anyway. So just get a little bit of product, tap it off, and I just sweep it across my whole lid. It just sets it just kind of sets the lid and gets it ready for the rest of the color. This is not a transition shade. All right, so then I will go in. Typically I'll go in with either this burnt orange color, this burnt orange color, or this dusty rose color. Sometimes I'll go in with both. Also this nice orange soda color is a good matte transition shade, depending on what look you're going for. So I think I'm gonna go for a little bit of a more of a romantic look. So I'm gonna start with the burnt orange, tap it off, and then I'm just going to apply it very lightly to the crease. You can see I've already got a little bit of color going on. These are pretty pigmented. These palettes run for 42 bucks if you've never bought one before, so they're a little bit pricey. But I've had the Modern Renaissance palette for quite a while, and I have not hit pan. The shadows go a really long way. So I'm just tapping very lightly into the shadow, tapping it off, and then just going in like some windshield wiper motions. A little more product, add a little bit of depth. And as you can see, I'm not going into the lid part, I'm just sticking to the crease. This is just how I do it. So yeah. At this point, there's very little product on my lid. I'm in on my brush, so I'm just blending and blending and blending. So at this point, I can either go in with the Dusty Rose or I can deepen up this color. So I'm gonna go in with the Dusty Rose. That's this one right here. And I'm just gonna tap gently and then take off the excess. And then I'm just going to add same motions, starting with the outer corner. And blending towards the center a little bit. I'm pressing it mostly into the crease. So you can see that the color is concentrated in the crease and then is blended a little bit outward. So for the time being, I'm done with those colors. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with, what am I feeling today? Okay, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. I'm either gonna use the rose pink shimmer, which is so pretty. I'm gonna swatch it. Can you see this? There we go. There we go. Oh, look at that. Oh my God, it's so pretty. Okay, really pretty. This is Glistening, which is this shimmer shade right here. Glistening. More of like a champagne color. Or Fairy, which is like a super light gold color. Also very pretty. Let's see if it shows up. Bam! Very pretty. Sometimes I'll mix these together. Okay, I'm gonna go in with the rose pink, because why not? Alright, so since this is a shimmer shade, if you want it to be a more bold shimmer and you want it to show up a little bit better, you can take some setting spray and your flat brush and spray it, which is what I'm gonna do today. And just get it really wet. And then what you're gonna do is you're just gonna tap it into the shadow, and it's gonna be kind of like a paste, and it's just gonna go on a lot more bold. So I'm gonna go in with the shadow, and I'm gonna start with it just kind of like on the lid. Sometimes there's a lot of fallout with when you do this, and so I don't want it, I don't know, this is just how I do it. I start with like almost at the inner corner, and then I drag it outward. I'm not really going for a cut crease today. I'm just going for super shimmery. Hopefully you can see this. And I'm just going to bring it up a little bit over where my actual crease is. See? I'm just gonna bring it up a little bit over that as it starts to dry, just so it's not a super harsh line, and then later I'll go back and blend it a little bit more. I'll take it all the way pretty much out to the end of my lid. I am gonna add a deeper shade on the outer corner, so I don't really take it all the way out there because it's not really necessary. So if your brush gets a little bit dry, you can always go back in, spray it again, and then do the other eye. As you can see, it's super shimmery. At least I hope it is, because it's really shimmery in person. Go back in with the shadow. I'm just doing like very light pressing motions. Just trying to get product on the brush. I'm not trying to disturb the shadow too much in the pan, so I don't want it to fall out. And it kind of like creates that paste, which is what makes it so shiny. And I'm gonna do the other side the same way. Sometimes it can get a little bit cakey, but you know what, whatever. This has a lot of product on it. Take it up just a little bit over the crease. Sometimes I just do windshield wiper motions, but usually I just do patting until it gets to be pretty dry, and then I'll go back and just do a little bit of dusting. Okay, so there hasn't been too much fallout underneath my eye, so that's good, just a little bit. If you do get fallout, you can either go back in with that under eye brush or just your regular powder brush. If you bake underneath your eye, this isn't like as much of a problem, but I didn't really bake my under eye today. If you do bake your under eye, then you can sweep away that fallout pretty easily. All right, so the shimmer part is done on the lid. So what I'm gonna do is go back in with a blending brush. I'm gonna use this Moda brush now. This is the crease brush. And I'm gonna go in with the burnt orange again. just so I can get, because I want to blend it a little bit before I go in with the deeper color. So I'm going to tap the outside corner, because if this product is still wet, then it'll create like a patchiness that I don't want. So I'm going to go back in, and I'm just going to kind of like tap in with a burnt orange, and then just do some flicking motions to get it to blend. And if you're going for like a super everyday look, or like a romantic, not like super bold look, then you can just leave it with this burnt orange. And I do that sometimes. You want to make sure that you blend any of these like wet looking creases out, which I'm going to do over here also with a different brush. So as you can see, it's a little bit creasy and weird. Maybe I'll do this. Just real light. I'm really just trying to blend the harshness. Let me see if I can zoom in, get in just a little bit. I'm just trying to blend the harshness out of that line. Now, if you're going for a cut crease, then obviously it's okay for you to use that line. I mean, keep that line, but that's not really the look that I'm going for. I don't really do cut creases. Okay, so I've added a little bit of burnt orange to the outer corner. I'm gonna go in just very lightly with this rustic color, which is, where am I? Right here, okay? I'm just gonna tap very lightly into the pan and tap it off, and then I'm gonna add it to the outer corner the same way that I did the burnt orange, just very lightly at first, and then dragging that color into the crease a little bit. I'm gonna go back in with the other eye very lightly. And just drag it into the crease. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna blow out my under eye and add just a little bit, because it's kind of like crazy looking if you don't like kind of even it out. So I'm gonna go in with that burnt orange color again, and actually I'm gonna add some orange soda in there too, which is that lighter color. Tap it off, and then start at the outer corner and just do this. Just kind of drag it. You can drag it all the way to the inner corner if you want. Usually I just focus on like the first 3/4 of my under eye, and just create like a little bit of just kind of evening out the look. So I'm gonna go back in with those two colors mixed together, and I'm gonna go on the other side. I really like this brush because it doesn't concentrate the color too much, but it just kind of like automatically helps you create that that smoky blown out look. A lot of people don't like to put shadow under their eyes, which is totally fine. I just really like the look of it. And I don't do it too dark, because then I feel like my eyes look closed off, which is not like closed, which is not what I want. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put that away. I'm gonna take my round Luxie mini round brush, and I'm gonna dip it into my highlight. This is the same highlight that I used on my face. And I'm gonna do my inner corner. And I just tap it first just in the actual inner corner, and then I'm gonna blend it just a little bit downward into where I put that color. Make sure I'm in the screen. And then upward. You can also use this to blend out any sort of like lines or harsh color that you have. So I'm just gonna start with my inner corner again, drag it up just a little bit, and then drag it down just a little bit. This is a very subtle inner corner highlight. Some people like to do like a bam, like a white, super shiny one. That is not me. Okay, oh, duh. So, you can also take this highlight and do your brow bone. And I just start real light, just tap it in and start real light Also take it a little bit under my brow, but mostly just focusing. My eyebrows are really crazy right now, but oh well, it's fine. Mostly just right here and concentrate it. Okay. All right. Next, I'm gonna do, I don't know if I want to do eyeliner today. Sometimes I don't do any eyeliner, I just do mascara because I feel like that creates a little bit more of a bright look versus like a dramatic look. So I think I'm gonna do that today. But first I'm gonna do my brows. Usually what I do for my brows is I just take a brush like this, like a spoolie. This is just a regular spoolie brush. It doesn't have, it didn't really come with any product or whatever. And I just brush my brows to get them a little bit more organized. And if I'm going for like an everyday look, which is every day, I actually don't fill in my brows because my brows are really bold as it is. Sometimes I'll do it if they're looking a little bit patchy or if my eyeshadow look is a little bit more bold. But as you can see, my brows are pretty full. So I don't actually do too much to my brows. Occasionally I'll come in and like tweeze some of the strays that are in here, clean this little bit area up, clean this up a little bit, but for the most part I just let them grow, which is pretty handy. I'm very lucky in that regard. Okay, I'm not sure how much cut off because my phone suddenly decided to tell me that it was out of storage, so I had to delete like 300 million text messages. You know how that is. Anyways, so let me make sure it's still running. It is. Anyways, so whatever I said about my brows, they're bold. I don't need anything on a regular basis. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my mascara. I don't usually wear falsies every day. Rarely wear them, in fact. So I'm gonna take this Ulta eyelash curler, and what I do is just curl my lashes. You need to be careful if you've never used one of these before because you can really pinch yourself and it hurts really bad. So just go right to the base, curl my lashes. So my favorite mascara that I have been using lately is this L'Oreal Telescopic in Blackest Black because that's the only way you should wear mascara. Just kidding. Okay, so I really like this wand because it's super skinny. It kind of grabs each lash and just lengthens each one individually, or so I tell myself. I'm not really into bulky lash brushes because I'm super messy. So I'm going to start at the base and just apply my mascara. Alright. So on any normal day, I actually don't wear lipstick, or lip gloss for that matter. But I sometimes wear chapstick and just like clean up if there's something like foundation and stuff. I really should wear more chapstick, to be honest. So I'm just gonna grab this one that's on my table. This is from Malaysia. My boyfriend's mom got it for me while she was traveling there. And just gonna add a little bit of moisture to my lips. Anyways, so that completes this video and this look. I hope that you like it. If you do, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, share this video, hit the bell. Yeah, I think that's it. If you like this video or you have other requests, then leave them in the comments. And I will try to get around to it. There's like a month left in summer. And I just bought a tripod for my phone so I can actually film videos because it was rigged up before. So anyways, I hope you like this.